Good evening and welcome to JJK Yoga. Today we are going to start in a lying down position. So slowly start to make your way down to your mat. I'd like you to ideally have the soles of your feet touching, knees just drawing out to the side. If this is really uncomfortable, if you have blocks, you can place the blocks underneath your thighs or cushions to help support your legs. Otherwise, just maybe bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees draw together, or you can have your legs lengthen along the mat. But if you can, try to have the soles of your feet together, knees splaying out. Have your arms down by your sides, palms facing up. And then just slowly start to close your eyes here and start to bring yourself to your mat. So just take a few breaths here as we wait for any late arrivals. Maybe just take an opportunity here to observe how you're feeling today, both mentally and physically. Anyone that's just joined us, we're going to start in a lying down position. If you can, have the soles of your feet together and let your knees splay out to the sides. And as I mentioned before, you have the option of maybe placing some support underneath your thighs or just having your legs lengthened on the mat or knees bent, feet on the mat, knees drawing in towards each other. So find your comfortable position. We'll be here for a few breaths. And now start to turn your gaze inward. Just take an opportunity here to maybe just notice your own breath. And we're going to slowly start to move towards our Ujjayi breath, the yogic breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. So as you breathe in and out of the nose, you create that slight restriction to the back of the throat, which creates an audible breath, which should sound like an ocean wave rolling in and out. As you inhale, you allow your belly to rise, your chest to expand, and the sides of your ribs to draw out. And then as you exhale and draw the breath out of the body, you gently start to lift your pelvic floor and draw your navel in towards your spine. So with each inhale, you want the belly to rise, and with each exhale, you allow it to fall. Maybe just notice the sound of your breath here. Now's a good opportunity to start counting the length of your inhale and your exhale. And so if you notice your breath lengths are different, you can maybe start to equalize your breath by finding a point in the middle. But try to do this without creating any force. Try to keep your focus inward. Just allowing the mind to become quiet. Just a couple more breaths here now. So maybe for your last couple of breaths, you might want to draw it down to any areas in the body that feel tightness. Just using your breath to maybe soften some of this tightness you're feeling. And after your next full breath, slowly start to open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. So if you've got your knees splayed out to the sides, Gently place your hands either side of your thighs and just draw your knees inward. If you had any other leg position, again, just bend your knees here and bring your feet to the mat. Now we're going to slowly draw our right knee in towards our chest. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly draw that right knee towards your right armpit, really squeezing it in here. On your next inhale, lengthen your leg up to the ceiling and wrap your hands around the back of the thigh. You can walk your hands further up your leg. If you have a tight hamstring, just bend your knee slightly. Keep that foot flexed. Just breathe into the back of the leg. Now slowly bend that knee and place the outside of that foot onto your left thigh. Use your right hand to draw that leg away. So find that juicy spot and just breathe into it. If you're not feeling anything here, you can lift your left foot off the mat, interlace your hands around your left thigh, and as you draw that left thigh in towards you, use your right arm to draw that right leg away. Try not to lift your lower back here, so try to draw your lower back down towards the mat. And again, just returning back to your breath. You can use your exhale to draw it down to any tightness, areas of tightness you're feeling. And then slowly lower your left foot down. We're going to come into a single-legged happy baby pose. So you can grab the back of your right leg, maybe the inside of the foot, index middle finger around the big toe, or the outside of the foot. So just take the leg in whatever way is comfortable to you, and then draw that knee down towards the mat. You want the foot parallel to the ceiling. Keep that left foot on the mat, knee drawing towards the ceiling. You can use your left hand to guide that knee down towards the mat, and just notice a stretch along the back of your right hamstring. If you want to have a gentle rock here, you can, but try to keep that left hip glued to the mat. And then slowly release that leg, place that foot back down to the mat, and draw your left knee into your chest now. Take an inhale. As you exhale, draw that knee towards your left armpit and just squeeze that leg in. On your next inhale, lengthen that leg up to the ceiling. Flex the foot so the heel draws away, toes draw towards your face. And interlace your hands behind that left thigh. So again, you can maybe walk the hands further up the leg and just breathing into the back of that left hamstring. Remember, if you have a tight hamstring, you can bend your knee. And then slowly bend your left knee. Place the outside of the foot on the right thigh and use your left hand to draw that left thigh away from you. So this is the first option. If you want to go into the second option, you just reach that right foot off the mat, wrap your hands around your right thigh, and as you draw that right leg in towards you, you use your left arm to draw the left leg away. Keep that foot flexed. Once you find that first point of resistance, just hold it there, and then just draw your breath down to that area, just to help you create some softness. Now slowly plant your right foot back down to the mat, and then come to the same place you went to the other side. So you either grab the back of the leg, the inside of the foot, index middle finger around the big toe, or the outside of the foot. Sole of the feet parallel to the ceiling, left knee drawing down towards the mat. And you can use your right hand just to help you guide that knee down. Just feeling that stretch along your left hamstring. Again, try to keep that right foot on the mat. Try not to let that knee splay out. And maybe have a gentle rock here from side to side, but try not to lift that lower back off the mat. And then slowly place the foot back down on the mat. Draw your knees into your chest. Have a gentle hug of the knees in. And then we're going to slowly roll over to one side and start to make our way to a tabletop position. So bring your wrists directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide and just check your toes are pointing back. As you take an inhale, slowly draw your tailbone back and chest forward. Gaze is forward. Exhale, round your spine up towards the ceiling, chin towards your chest. Inhale, tailbone back, chest forward. So remember, if you feel any tender spots and you just want to hold it there and breathe, you can. Again, inhale, chest forward, tailbone back. Try to draw the shoulders down towards your knees. And again, round through the spine, drawing the chin to chest as you exhale. And then slowly drop your sit bones back to your heels. Maybe have your knees hip width or slightly wider, and just walk your hands forward as you make your way to a tabletop, a child's pose. So once in your child's pose, creep those fingertips forward and draw those hips back. Remember, if your forehead doesn't meet the floor, you can place a block or a cushion underneath. So you just raise the floor up to your forehead. Your next inhale, just lift your head an inch off the mat. Walk your hands to the top left-hand corner and bring your right palm on top of your left hand. And then just drop your head down to the mat, just extending the right side of your torso. Drawing that right hip back. Try to drop the right shoulder here. And then bring yourself back to center as you inhale. Exhale, walk to the top right-hand corner, bringing your left palm on top of your right hand. Draw that left hip back, drop the forehead, drop that left shoulder, and just feel the extension along the left side. And then walk back to center. Keep drawing those hips back, extending those hands forward, just feeling the lengthening across the sides of the body. And then calm back up. So we're back in a tabletop position. Now keep your gaze forward, down towards your hands. Bring your right wrist directly under your right shoulder. Tuck your right toes behind you, just extending that right leg. And then lift your left arm, so your arm is by your ear, fingertips reaching forward. So this is the first option. You can just stay here, really lengthening the fingertips forward. Or maybe you can lift that right foot off the mat, bringing your heel in line with your hip. If you're lifting, really draw the fingertips forward, heel back, just feeling that energy align right through the foot to the hand. And then slowly place your hand down, bring your foot back, bring your knee back. This time make sure your left wrist is directly under your left shoulder. Draw your left leg back and just tuck your toes. Reach your right arm by your ear, reach the fingertips forward. So this is the first option, gaze is down. Or maybe just lift your left heel in line with your hip. So again, we're really stretching the fingertips forward, heel back. Just noticing the lengthening across the body. Keep the navel squeezing into the spine. And then slowly lower the hand, lower the knee. This time we're going to reach the right arm out to the side. And as you exhale, you're going to thread the arm underneath your left armpit. Really drawing that shoulder under. And then square the hips back over your knees. And extend your left arm to the top of the mat. And just return to your breath. As you inhale, maybe draw the breath to the backs of the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, just melting down into that right arm and shoulder. Now slowly walk your left hand back, press down into your left palm, coming back to tabletop. And this time inhale your left arm up to the ceiling, exhale, thread it underneath your right armpit, coming to the top of that left shoulder. Again, square the hips over your knees and extend that right arm forward. And just keep breathing here. Just feeling that extension along the right side, stretch along the under part of the left. And then slowly walk the right hand back, come back to your tabletop. Now creep your hands a couple of inches forward, tuck your toes, and let's come to a downward dog. So you're lifting your hips up and back, and then just walk out your feet, just pedaling the feet here, maybe just, again, just stretching out those hamstrings if you need to. And then let's start to make our way to a static dog. So if you have tight hamstrings, just a slight bend in the knee, and then drawing the chest up towards the thigh, so you create this nice long spine. Try to draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then we're going to slowly gaze towards our hands and walk our feet towards our hands. When you get to the top of your mat, have your feet about hip distance. And then bend your knees so your chest can hang heavy over your thighs. Drop your head and grab opposite elbows. Maybe nod your head yes, no here. Just releasing any tension in the back of the neck. And maybe sway from side to side, releasing any tension in your lower back. Then slowly press down into your heels, release your hand. And as you inhale, roll up to standing. Reach your arms up and over your head. Hands through prayer. Now we're going to do some sun salutations today. So as you inhale, reach your arms up and over. As you exhale, slowly swan dive down. Fingertips to the mat or your shins. Inhale halfway. Draw your shoulders down your back. Gaze is in front of your mat. Exhale, plant your hands down. Step your right foot back. Drop your knee, chest forward. Place your hands on the mat. And then bring your left foot to meet your right foot in a plank pose. Remember, if you've got any lower back issues or pain in your shoulders, you can drop your knee and come to half plank. Now everyone, drop your knees. Slowly lower your chin and chest down to your hands, keeping your elbows drawing back. And then scoop your body through, coming to a low cobra. Gaze is still down to the mat, drawing your shoulders down your back. Now slowly come back into your downward dog. Hold it here. Feet to hip distance. Hands shoulder width. If you have tight shoulders, just have your hands slightly wider. Tight hamstrings, just a slight bend in the knee. Try to draw the shoulders away from the ears. Couple more breaths here. Try to draw the weight into your feet. And then slowly gaze between your hands. Step your right foot through, drop your left knee. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, step your left foot to your right foot. Standing forward, fold. And then press down into your heels as you inhale and roll up to standing. Arms up and over your head, hands through prayer. Inhale, arms up and over your head. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step your left foot through, drop your back knee, chest forward. Stop, place your hands down, step back into your plank again, or half plank. Hold it there. Keep drawing your heels back, navel to spine, and then slowly drop your knees. Keep your hips nice and high. Slowly lower your chin and chest down towards your hands. Scoop your body through. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, slowly coming back to your downward dog. So really draw the front of the thighs towards the back of the room. As you press down through the fingertips, keep the hips reaching up high. And then slowly gaze between your hands. Step your left foot through. Drop your back knee. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, standing forward fold. Drop your head. Press down into your heels as you inhale, roll up to standing. Head is the last to lift. Arms up and over your head. Hands through prayer. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step your right foot through, and this time we keep the knee off the mat by coming into a runner's lunge. Chest forward. Exhale, plank. So, option to drop your knees, come through knees, chest, chin, into a low cobra, and then to your downward dog. Or you can come through chaturanga. Chaturanga, you stay in a straight line, shoot your body forward, keeping elbows over wrists, shoulders to elbows, come onto the tops of your feet, knees and thighs off the mat and into your upward dog. Gaze forward, roll over your feet and come to your downward dog. Now from here we're all going to come back into plank, and again you can drop your knees or you can come down in a straight line, and we're going to come all the way down to lie on our belly. Create a pillow with your hands and just rest your forehead on your hands for the moment. Take a couple of breaths here. And then slowly place your forehead on the mat and bring your hands down by your sides. Palms facing down. Now try to draw your shoulders down your back and maybe walk your fingertips closer towards your feet. Make sure you're on to the tops of all 5 toes, so including your little toe. So this may involve rolling your legs out slightly. Now pressing down into the palms and the tops of your feet and your pubic bone. You're going to take an inhale and slowly raise your forehead, your chin and chest off the mat. Keep the shoulders drawing down on the back. And again, the gaze is just in front of your mat. Take an inhale, see if you can press down into the palms and lift a little higher. Try not to fling the neck back. And then slowly lower down. Come onto your right cheek and just gaze to the left. And turn your palms over. Now let's do that again. So bring your forehead to the mat, palms down by your sides. So this time we're going to press down into palms, but we're going to lift our feet off the mat as well. So again, see if you can walk your fingertips closer towards your feet. Draw your shoulders down your back. And as you inhale, slowly lift your forehead, your chin, your feet, your knees, your thighs off the mat. Reach those toes back and reach the crown of your head forward, really extending along the spine. You should be resting on your pubic bone here. Really press down into the hands. Maybe you can lift your chest a little higher, lift your thighs a little higher, and then slowly lower. Gaze towards the right. Again, turn the palms over. Now slowly come back. Bring your elbows under your shoulders, forearms on the mat, palms down. Again, check you're on all 5 toes, the tops of all 5 toes. Draw your shoulders down your back and gaze forward. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly turn your gaze over your right shoulder. Just a gentle stretch to the neck. Inhale forward. Exhale, looking over your left shoulder. And come back to center. Again, press down into the elbow. Draw the shoulders down your back. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, gaze over your right shoulder again. Inhale to center. And exhale over to the left. And then come back to center. And come to lie on your forehead. Bring your right arm out now. Make sure your right wrist is in line with your right shoulder and the top of your right shoulder is pressing down into the mat. Gaze towards the left and place your left hand under your left shoulder. Now you're going to slowly press down into your left hand as you lift your left leg over your right leg. This is option 1. You can just stay here, or you can bend your left knee and place your left foot behind your right leg. That's option 2. Option 3 is to bring your left arm behind you, place the back of a hand on your sacrum, or thread your fingertips underneath your waist. If you're coming to option 3, you can start to draw that left shoulder back. Remember, if your head doesn't comfortably reach the floor, you can place a cushion or a block underneath. We're going to hold this for about a minute. So maybe close your eyes here and just return back to the breath we started with. Really working into the front of that right shoulder and just opening that area across the chest. Use your breath to try to create some softness. After your next full breath, slowly start to make your way out by bringing your hand back, extending your left leg, and slowly coming back to lie on your front. Then bring your right hand under your shoulder and extend your left arm. So left wrist in line with your left shoulder, palm pressing down, front of the shoulder pressing down. Come to lie. Remember, you can use a cushion or block or lie on your left cheek and temple. And as you press down into the right hand, just draw your right leg over your left. So remember, this is option 1. Option 2 is to bend that right knee and place the foot behind the left leg. And option 3 is to bring that right arm behind you, hand either behind your sacrum or fingers threading under your waist. If you've got the arm behind you, draw that right shoulder back. And again, just find that juicy spot and breathe into it. And again, we're going to hold this for a minute. So maybe just close your eyes here and bring your awareness back to your breath. It's also a good opportunity to notice the difference between your right side and your left. Just check in on your breath. Make sure you're breathing. Try not to hold your breath because that can create more tension. One more breath here. And then slowly start to make your way out the same way you went in. Bring your gaze over your left shoulder. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. And then just bring yourself back to a tabletop position. Once you're in your tabletop position, again stack your knees underneath your hips. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, you're just going to walk your hands forward, drawing your forehead, your chin or chest down towards the mat. So coming into heart opening pose. Try to keep those hips stacked over your knees, so don't let them swing forward or draw back. And once in position, keep drawing your chest energetically down towards the mat. And then breathe. So you want your arms extended out in front, but if you have really tight shoulders, you can bend at the elbows. And then take one more breath. And slowly make your way back to your tabletop. Tucking your toes, coming back to your downward dog. And then you're going to gaze between your hands, step your right foot through, runner's lunge. Inhale, chest forward. And exhale, left foot to right foot, just come into your standing forward fold. Press down into your heels. As you inhale, and roll up to standing, hands through prayer. Inhale, arms up and over your head. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway. So keep drawing those shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, plant your hands down, and this time step your left foot back into your runner's lunge, chest forward. Place your hands down, coming back into your plank. So remember, options to come through knees, chest, chin, low cobra, downward dog. Or you're going to come through chaturanga, shoot the body forward. Make sure your elbows are above your wrist. Come onto the tops of your feet. There should be no compression in your lower spine or neck here. And then slowly roll over your feet, and we'll all meet in downward dog. Now gaze between your hands and step your right foot through. Drop your back knee. Just going to hold it here. Check your right knee is stacked above your right heel. Toes are pointing forward. Knee tracking over your toes, and just breathing into the front of that left hip maybe, or maybe you're feeling it along the inside or outside of that right thigh. So wherever you're feeling it, just draw your breath into that area. Again, try to soften those shoulders. Now take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to extend your hips back. And then this time you're going to bring your toes down to the mat. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, draw your torso onto the inside of that right thigh. So just stretching the front of that foot, the back of that calf, maybe feeling in your hamstring. And then slowly come back to the front. Now bring your right foot about an inch to the right, hands onto the inside of the leg. Keep your right knee drawing in towards your right arm. So you can stay on your hands, or you can maybe come down to your elbows. Again, if you've got blocks, you can come down onto your blocks. Whatever position you're in, try not to lose a connection with your right leg and your right arm. Make sure your whole foot is on the mat, knees drawing in, and gazes forward. And just checking on your breath. Now slowly come back up, and you're going to walk your foot another inch to the right, keeping your right heel where it is. Turn your right toes out, bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder, and come onto the outside of that right foot. Use your right hand against the inside of that right thigh, so make sure it's not on the knee, and then turn your torso over that leg, just opening the chest as well. Now this is option 1, so you can stay here and really work into that right hip. Option 2 today is bringing that foot back onto the mat, so keeping the toes pointing to the right hand corner, but this time you're going to lower the left hip down towards the mat. Okay, so option 1 is to draw this knee out and really work into that into that hip, or option 2 is to draw that left hip down towards the mat. So you really work into the front of that left hip as well. And just checking on your breath. Make sure you're not holding your breath. And then slowly come back up. Walk that foot back in. Bring your hands onto the inside of that leg. Again, you can stay on your hands. If you want, you can even try to draw that left leg further back. Just make sure that front knee is stacked above that front heel. And then you can even come down to your elbows. So we're just returning back to the position we were in before the last. Knee drawing in towards the arm. Just hold it there. And then slowly come back up. So again, we're going to shift our hips back. And this time you're going to lift your toes. Take an inhale. As you exhale, draw your torso onto the inside of that right leg. Now this is option 1. You can stay here. Or maybe you can drop your left sit bone onto your left heel. And then slowly start to bring your torso onto the inside of that right leg. Okay, so option 1 is to keep your hips up. Or option 2 to drop your sit bones back onto your left heel. Whichever position you're in, toes are pointing up, shoulders drawing down your back. Just breathing into that back of that right leg. And let's slowly start to make our way to the front. Place your hands down and step back into your downward dog. And maybe just pedal out your feet here. Just noticing the difference between your right and your left. Then gaze between your hands, and this time step your left foot through, draw up your back knee. So again, shoot that right knee back further back, and just make sure your left knee is stacked above your left heel, and we're just going to hold it here. So once you find that first point of resistance, you just breathe into it. Take an inhale. As you exhale, draw your hips back, and again this time you leave first position to leave your toes down to the mat, and again you just draw your torso onto the inside of that left leg. And just breathe here. You might notice that with each exhale, you can just go that little bit closer. And then inhale, come forwards again. And this time we're bringing our hands onto the inside of our left leg. So you just bring that left foot maybe an inch to the left. So you can stay on your hands, come down to blocks, or come down to your elbows and forearms. Make sure that if you're coming down to your forearms, the inner part of your left foot is connected to the left forearm, and that knee is drawing into that arm. And keep your gaze forward. And then you're going to slowly come up. Walk your left foot another inch to the left, and then keeping your left heel where it is, turn your left toes out, and then come onto the outside of that foot, using your left hand to open up that left thigh, drawing your torso over that left leg, really opening your chest over that leg. Now remember, this is option 1, where you just really work into your left hip. Or if you want to come on to option 2, bring your foot back down to the mat, so make sure all of your big toes pressing into the mat, and then you just drop your right hip down towards the mat. Okay, so there's 2 options there. So choose the one that works for you today. You shouldn't feel any uncomfortable pain, so if you are, just come out, don't go as far. And then slowly come back up if you come down. Everyone walk your foot back in. And we're going to bring our hands to the inside of our left foot again. So the hands, you're either staying on your hands or coming down to your elbows. Again, checking that your left leg is left leg is connected to your left arm. Gaze forward. And then slowly come back up. Draw your hips back, lift the toes up. Take an inhale as you exhale, just draw your torso to the inside of that left leg. So remember, this is option 1. This may just be the right place for you today. Or if you want to go a little bit further, just drop your right sit bone all the way back to your right heel. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, just draw your torso onto the inside of that left leg. But make sure your toes are drawing up to the ceiling, knees pointing up. Again, just checking in on your breath. And then slowly make your way back. Tuck your toes and make your way back to your downward dog. Now gaze between your hands. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly step your left foot through. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, right foot to left. And then we're going to slowly roll up to standing, come into Tadasana, arms over your head, hands through prayer. Lovely. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step your right foot back, runner's lunge. Plant your hands down, stepping into plank. So remember, you can come through chaturanga, into an upward dog, into downward dog, or you can drop your knees. Slowly lower your chin and chest down towards your hands. Scoop your body through and come into your low cobra. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly make your way back into your downward dog. Gaze between your hands and step your right foot through. Drop your back knee. Bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder and just reach your right arm up. Just really extending your chest towards the ceiling. Arm can reach behind you. And then slowly come back. Draw that left knee in, so your left leg and your front leg are parallel. Lovely. Bring your right arm up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, draw that hand onto the back of your sacrum, fingertips pointing down. Just draw that right shoulder back. Extend the left arm up, really inhale, extend out of your hips. And as you exhale, place that hand, the back of that hand, to the outside of the right knee. Your gaze and your torso facing forward, take an inhale. As you exhale, start to twist from your lower spine towards the right, then your middle spine, and then your upper spine. So really twisting the body. Take an inhale. As you exhale, I want you to slide your right arm outside your, left arm outside your right leg. When the elbow hooks behind your leg, Just bend the elbow and bring the hand to heart center. And then bring your right hand to join your left hand. And really twist the body over to the right. Use your left elbow against your right leg to really twist you a little bit further. So you can stay here, or you can gaze down to your right toes. Make sure you're not clenching your toes. Tuck your left toes and come into a high lunge twist. Once you lift that left knee off the mat, really draw that left thigh up to the ceiling and draw the heel back. And then twist to the right, gaze over your hands. Whichever position you're in. Slowly gaze down towards your toes. If you're in the high lunge, drop your knee. And then everyone come to the front. And then step back into your downward dog. Now step your left foot through, draw up your back knee. Bring your right hand underneath your shoulder. And inhale, reach your left arm up. Again, bringing that arm behind you, drawing your chest up to the ceiling. Bring that left hand back. Walk your right foot in, right knee in, so your right leg and your right thigh and left leg are parallel. Left arm up to the ceiling. And then bring your hand behind your sacrum. Fingertips are pointing down, left shoulder drawing back. Inhale, your right arm up, really extend your right side and then place the back of that hand onto the outside of your left leg. Inhale, lengthen through your spine again. And as you exhale, you're going to twist from your lower spine to the left, then your middle spine and then your upper spine. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly start to slide your right arm down your left leg. Once the elbow hooks to the outside of that leg, bend the arm and place a hand by heart center. Left hand to join right hand in a prayer position. And then you really twist the body to the left. You can stay here or gaze down towards your left toes, tuck your right toes and lift your knee off the mat. If you lift the knee, make sure that back leg is active, really drawing that thigh up to the ceiling, heel draws back. And then gaze over your palms again, twist the body to the left. So whatever your position you're in, really twisting that torso. One more breath here. So if you're in a high lunge position, slowly turn your gaze towards your toes, drop your knee, and then everyone release here. Step back into your downward dog. And gaze between your hands. Step your right foot through. Runner's lunge. And then step your left foot through, standing forward fold. Press down into your heels and roll up to standing. Arms up and over your head, hands through prayer. Inhale, arms up and over your head. Exhale, slowly swan dive down. And this time step your left foot back, runner's lunge. And then step your right foot back. So we're just going to come straight into downward dog this time. Really drawing those hips back. And then gaze between your hands. And we're going to draw that right, we're going to come into pigeon pose. So you're going to bring that right knee behind that right wrist. And right foot behind the left wrist. Then come onto the top of that left hip. So really extend the left leg back. And then tuck that left hip under. Walk your hands back and extend your spine. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to slowly start to walk your hands forward, extending your torso over your front leg. So I really want you to extend the sides of your torso here as well. And bring your forehead down to the mat. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, just place a block or cushion underneath. So once in this position, I really want you to draw that left hip under and draw that right hip back. So you always want to square the hips. Remember, if your right hip is really high, you can place a block or cushion underneath. Once in position, slowly close your eyes and return back to your breath. And we're going to be here for about a minute again. Try to soften the upper body here. Again, once you find that juicy spot, you just draw your breath into that area. Allow everything else to soften. then take one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, slowly walk yourself up. Turn your torso over your right knee. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to slowly walk your torso over your right knee. Again, try to bring your forehead down to the mat, or maybe onto a block or cushion. Extending your arms forward, just really breathing onto the, just feeling that stretch on the outside of that right leg. We're going to hold this for about half a minute. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly walk your way back up. Take an inhale. And then when you're ready, you're going to start to make your way back into your downward dog. So you might want to walk your feet out in your downward dog. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring your left knee behind your left wrist, left foot behind your right wrist. And then draw that right hip under. Really extend that right leg back. Really tuck that right hip under. Hands either side. Extend the spine as you inhale, and as you exhale, again, you're going to extend your arms forward. Draw your torso over your front leg. Again, we're going to hold this for a minute. So remember, rest your forehead onto the floor or onto support if it doesn't reach the floor. Once in position, keep that right hip drawing under and draw that left hip back. If your left hip is really high, again, you can just place a block or a cushion underneath. And then again, try to soften the upper body here. Just bring yourself back to your breath. And then one more breath here. And as you inhale, slowly walk yourself back up. Turn your gaze over your left knee. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're just going to extend yourself over your left knee. Again, just stretching the whole body, bringing the forehead back down to the mat or onto a prop. Again, we're just going to hold this for about a minute. Sorry, half a minute. And just make this your last breath. And then slowly bring yourself back up. Bring yourself back into your downward dog. Again, if you need to pedal your feet, do that now. And then slowly gaze between your hands. Step your left foot through into your runner's lunge. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, right foot to left foot. And just have your feet about hip distance and just let yourself hang over your legs here. Bend your knees if you need to so you can get your chest to connect to your thighs. And then maybe wrap your elbows around your knees. Take a couple of breaths here. And then slowly release your hands. Press down into your heels. And roll up to standing. Hands through prayer. Inhale, reach your arms up and over your head. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale halfway. And then exhale, you're just going to step one foot back, the other foot back, and drop down to your knees. And make your way to a seated position. So we're going to come to sit with our legs out nice and wide. So really pull the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. Maybe internally rotate your thighs in and make sure your knees and your toes are pointing up. So you want nice active legs here. Then bring either your hand or your forearm down onto the inside of your right leg, so either your hand or forearm, and then reach your left arm up and over. So try to keep that shoulder nice and open, reaching your chest up towards the ceiling. Make sure your left sit bone is still rooted to the mat. And then slowly come back up. Turn your torso over your right leg. Take an inhale as you exhale. You're just going to drop your torso over that leg. Again, make sure your left sit bone is rooted to the mat. Try to draw the shoulders down your back. Try not to round the upper back. Try and draw your chest down rather than your forehead. And then slowly come back up. This time bring your left hand to the inside of your left leg, or come down to your forearm and reach your right arm up and over. Again, opening that shoulder, drawing the chest up towards the ceiling. So you don't want to roll in here. Again, make sure that right sit bone's rooted into the mat. And then slowly come back up. Turn your torso over your left leg. Take an inhale. Hands either side, and as you exhale, slowly bring your torso onto that left leg. So again, try not to round through your upper back. Try to draw the chest down. So even if you're here, you're just really working into that left leg. Again, make sure that right sit bone is pressing down into the mat. And then slowly come back up. Now if you have a rounded back here, your lower spine tends to round, I just want you to bring your hands behind you and really extend your torso. Your chest is reaching up, and then maybe start to draw your chest down, but keep your hands behind you. If your pelvis is tilted forward, you can bring your hands out in front. Take an inhale and exhale, slowly start to bring your chest down towards the mat. Again, make sure the legs are active. Inhale to create space, exhale, maybe just come a little bit deeper. A few more breaths here. Again, make sure your sit bones are rooting down into the mat, so don't let those hips lift, keep drawing them back. And then slowly come back up. Well done. Bring your thighs together, start to come down to your mat. So start by drawing your knees into your chest. Maybe have a gentle rock here. And then we're going to slowly start to make our way to a happy baby pose. So like we did at the start, you can have your hands either behind your legs, the insides of your feet, index middle finger wrapped around your big toe, or you can grab the outsides of your feet. Whichever option you choose, you want the soles of your feet to mirror the ceiling, and you want your knees to draw out, gently drawing them down towards the mat. Now try to glue the lower back down towards the mat, and then maybe just have a gentle rock here. And then come to stillness, keep drawing your knees down to the side. And then slowly draw your knees back into your chest. Place your feet onto the mat. Have your feet hip distance or maybe a little bit wider. Arms out nice and wide. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, just drop your knees over to the left and gaze over your right shoulder. Just gentle supine twist. And then inhale, legs back to center, knees back to center, gaze back to center, exhale. Drop your knees over to the right, gaze over your left shoulder. And then inhale, knees back to center. So maybe just draw your knees into your chest again, just to bring your spine to a neutral position. And then you're just going to lengthen your legs out down the mat. Slowly starting to make your way into Shavasana. Arms down by your sides. Just close your eyes here. Take a scan of your body. Notice if you're holding on to any tension. And then maybe just take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe just drawing that breath down to any tension you're feeling. And then keeping your eyes closed. Slowly start to let the whole body soften. Let the feet splay out to the sides. Soften your legs, your thighs. Palms facing up to the ceiling. Soften your forearms, your arms. Let the front body melt into the back body and let the whole body just melt into the mat. Let the shoulders press down into the mat, chest nice and open. Release any tension at the back of your neck, your face and your jaw. And then slowly soften that area around your eyes, your cheeks and your forehead as we make our way into our final pose, Shavasana. So to really reap the benefits of Shavasana, I invite you to stay in this pose for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Namaste.